YSL Trontavious Stop Ticks.
Here are some of the names that I never graduated from high school. I'm kind of bad with math.
Bruh.
You're going too fast. I never had 75,000 at the time of 18. We shot dice, we smoked weed, drunk liquor, we clubbed, Cleveland Avenue.
I called my wife. Well, she wasn't happy. So
the objection.
So we discussed what I could do. So I went ahead and changed the settings on my social media and locked it down so that you can't see anything outside of my name and my profile picture to protect the images of my family and anybody from seeing any more information about me.
And what did you do after you shot?
I googled young thug
Why?
because I didn't understand why I would be getting threats.
And what did you? What you Google that was around this trip?
Yes, Jeffrey Williams.
in. Hey, what's up, people? Turn off that music. Turn off that music. We here. Well, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. We waiting on Sylvia. We just warming it up for y'all a little bit. Gather around, party people. It is day 15. Day 15, yes. The YSL Rico trial. If you were here today watching the live stream, you would know that today they actually dropped some. It was actually kind of fire today. Like we've been asking the prosecution to bring it, and today they started bringing it. So we're looking forward to talking. Who's in the building? Producer, come on. Let's give some shout outs. We come in. We just trying to warm it up. Yes, Ashley. Hey. We warming it up. Tall Glass, hey, nice. Thank you so much for waiting. It's 8:30. We are so behind, but it's all good. You know your people. Hey, Nona. Hey, everybody. Nice to see y'all in the building. Yes. Kenzie, what's up? That's right. Collaborate. Everybody celebrate. VK, hey, it's good to see you, of course. Who was here? If you were here this morning or this afternoon for the YSL Rico trial, we're going to be talking. So make sure y'all got y'all notes because there was a lot that was said, right, Ms. Green Eyes? There was a whole lot that was said and done today that we're going to be going over. Prosecution was trying to come with the real juice, but Mr. Steele was coming through for his client. Keep going, producer. Who else we got in the building? We got anybody else? Come on, shout yourself out. Classy Coco, always in the building. Good evening. Thank you for waiting, everybody. Perspective Me, hey, thank you for waiting. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being diligent and being here. Hello, Toria. Nice to see you. So yeah, your boy Trontavious was back on all day. Poor baby. Demetrius Sprotley, hello to you. He was back on all day today. I was just talking to somebody and we were saying, shouldn't they like have limits on how long they can have somebody be interrogated? Do you feel like that they should have limits? Give me your feedback while we're about to unveil in just another couple of seconds. Give me some more folks, producer. Anybody else? Okay. I want your feedback, folks. I want your feedback. Should we have limits on how long a person can be interrogated on trial? I'm ready to come off. Let's go. Waiting for Sylvia, but ready to go live with you all. In the meantime, I'm going to chat it up while we wait for her to get here. She has been in the trial, of course, all day, and she said she had traffic. So she's a bit delayed. And in the meantime, we're going to get in here and get started and hold it down for her while she is getting herself situated. But, my question is, if you all know, it's, hey, love Nona. He be looking so tired. I mean, I feel like at some point, I think the judge's job is to make sure that everything is being managed in the courtroom. And the courtroom environment. And I think that also involves, I'm sure, the witnesses and how long they're being interrogated. I mean, at some point, they are going to be exhausted. They're going to not be able to think. Trontavious was looking super weary today. And I think exactly this dude was falling asleep, snitching on the stand. Oh, Mustafa. Well, yeah, I mean, he was on, they started at about 10 something and he was there all day. They had a 1 hour lunch break. They had a 10-minute break and maybe a couple 10-minute breaks. But he has definitely been on stand all day long being interrogated by top prosecutors. This is state RICO. So these are not your everyday low life, lawyers who, ambulance chases. These are like heavy duty folks. And I think that there's an issue where you've got somebody on stand that long. How long does it become a thing before it becomes they're just trying to get off, that they're just saying anything? Due the time says, I think it can be exhausting. I don't think it should be a limit. I don't think it should be a limit, but I do see it becoming overwhelming. Yeah. I mean, just think about it. It's kind of to some extent it's torture, right? Because you're there and you're being, what is that? From 10 a.m. to about, they got out of 5. So plus the lunch breaks, that's 7 hours, maybe 6 hours and change, sitting in a chair being questioned. And then, the sister, Adrienne Love, the prosecutor, she loves to ask the same question 50 different ways and acts in a really elusive way. So the type of questioning you're getting is so mentally exhausting. So it's not even just casual conversation. It's really interrogation. It seems more like an interrogation versus witness questioning. I absolutely agree with that. You can see that the young man, he has his water there. But the first couple of days last week, we saw him. He definitely seemed much more upbeat. Today, you can see that it's starting to wear on him. So that's part of, I'm sure, the strategy that lawyers have, because they essentially wear you down until you essentially say anything. They get off the stand. Before they called the end of the day session today, I thought he was going to cry. Yeah, I did too. I really was looking at him like, yo, man, we're rooting for him only because he's the underdog, right? Not because whether or not he did the crime or not, but I just kind of feel like he's really, being beat up on by the prosecution. And he's being held to, they were talking today about the plea deal he signed. So he signed that plea, right, Toria? He signed that plea just to get out of that hellhole that he was already, I know he's ready to curse her out. Right. So basically what Tori is talking about, if you weren't here this morning, is they pulled up the plea deal and they asked him to read from it. And we got a chance to read and to hear the plea deal that he signed. And it essentially said, in a nutshell, that, you were going to testify as to the overt acts that essentially show that YSL was a criminal organization. Right. So the whole thing, this case is built upon the fact that this is a gang and this is a criminal organization and that they committed crimes and overt acts in furtherance of this criminal organization. I think Sylvia's coming in. Yes, ma'am. It's all right, mama. We got you. Hold it. Come in smooth. Come in easy. We just warming the room up. I like that sweater today. You in there. It's a little chilly out there in Atlanta.
It's cold. It was cold.
Girl.
It's supposed to be some bad weather tomorrow.
Well, shoot, we just had a little snowstorm up here. Y'all need to get a little spread the snow and everything around.
We don't need it.
But we were just talking, Sylvia. We already welcomed everybody in. We've been warming everybody up.
Hey, everybody.
We were just talking. I mean, you were there today. We were talking about Trontavious, right? He went, Mustafa, he went from smart water to water. Like, he seems like he is being not just questioned, but interrogated. He seems exhausted. He seems like he's weary. He was on trial, sitting there being interrogated for 7 hours, except for the lunch period, maybe 6.5. But, this intense questioning from the prosecutor, then Steele coming in to basically build the case, to separate him from Steele. What did you perceive in terms of, he just really looked beat and weary and exhausted today, Trontavious?
Yeah, he was beat down.
Yeah.
Beat down.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you can't help but feel bad for him. I mean, like, we were talking about the plea deal. So this is where when you jumped in, we were just going to talk about the plea deal. So the plea deal, he essentially signed the plea deal. And the plea deal basically said that he would testify of the overt acts that were committed by YSL in furtherance of the criminal activity of the gang, right? So he was supposed to be the one to come in and talk about all the stuff that they were doing as a criminal organization. Yeah. And he's been weighed to do that. And the whole thing about his plea deal, right? What Steele, Young Thug's attorney, was trying to establish was that you essentially signed this deal under duress, right? Like, he's saying you were living in, 8 years probation. Well, he was given 8 years probation in order to snitch, essentially. Yeah. But you signed, what Steele was saying, essentially, he was asking him questions about what were the conditions that he was in when he was offered the plea deal. And as we know, he had already been at that time in jail, right? So he was being offered an opportunity to get out of this jail, and Steele started asking questions about what were the conditions in the jail. And he talked about how there was urine and feces in the Fulton County jail. And you actually talked about this before, but you were talking about Cook County. as well. But these jail situations, they're awful. He talked about how there were people being killed in the jail, right? There were, people who were being, injured or killed in the jail. He was talking about how in the jail, the food is terrible, that, you cannot get any outside. You don't get to go outside at all. You're pretty much stuck in there and you're living in filth, right? So, and that for 7 to 8 months, he had no physical contact with his family. He wasn't able to have any relationship with anyone, and that he was facing 20 years in prison if he did not plead guilty to submit to this plea deal, right? So what Steele was basically trying to say was, this man was just trying to get out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I mean, do you think that what did you see the jurors' faces, and what do you think that really resonate?
That part I didn't see the juror's face, but the part where when Steele got up there and started asking him questions, I started taking notes. And when they're talking about the rent, they were taking notes on that.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the rent in a second, because that was the second part. I think Steele did a really great job. I think that one of the things Steele was trying to do today was, one, to really establish that, DA, prosecutor, Love, Trontavious was involved in some crimes. Trontavious is in a gang. However, Trontavious did the plea simply because he wanted to get out of jail. And also Trontavious' charges have nothing to do with Jeffrey Williams. Like, I think those are the two things that he was trying to establish today. Trontavious was, basically, did this for his own benefit, to get out of these horrible conditions, to get a plea deal so he can get out of jail. And really, Jeffrey Williams was just there. He has nothing to do with any of these things that you've done, Trontavious. And Jeffrey Williams is actually trying to help you. And that's what you were just talking about just now, about him paying his rent. What did you want to say about that, Sylvia?
No, I was saying that I noticed the jurors started writing, and they were because the picture that they put out, the prosecutor, was that they were inside of a chat group, and in the chat group they were saying stuff that basically Jeffrey was being a leader and doing stuff, telling him to go do this in person and that. But he was talking about the diamond that the guy put in his forehead, in his forehead.
Right.
And
that was the little Uzi Vert. So basically, like, what you're talking about right now is that they pulled up, like you said, these conversations. And be careful, y'all. As you can see, your information is accessible. Ain't nothing private out here. Okay, so they pulled up these group chats, right? And they were talking about little Uzi Vert's diamond. If you remember, little Uzi Vert had a diamond, a $20 million diamond in his forehead a couple of years back. And he was saying they were having a conversation about little Uzi Vert, and they were trying to say that they were trying to infer that it was about something else. What was that piece about? Because I couldn't really, it kept going in and out for me.
He basically was telling them that the message that they were talking about is that the guy spent all that money on his forehead, and that he basically wouldn't do it. He was saying that slime, whatever, YSL is on top. It's like, we're bigger than them type of thing. And but we're not.
So it wasn't. So basically, Steele was like, this is an innocent conversation. This was submitted as as one of the evidences. They Steele asked Trontavious, he said, how does this increase the notoriety? How does this conversation serve to increase the street credibility or the notoriety of the gang? Because I'm sorry, this was not a private conversation. This was on social media. And Trontavious said, I don't know. This is about little Uzi Vert's diamond. It doesn't do anything to help the group's notoriety. They also talked about that thing what you said about the rent. There was a conversation about $1,500.
Well, he had paid the rent the month before, and he was asking the guys who were, I guess, his roommates, about their part of the rent. And I guess everybody didn't have their money, and then he was like, well, complaining to them, like, it's not fair that I can't afford this type of rent. So therefore, I guess they went until when Jeff entered into the chat and they explained to him what was happening. He gave them the rent money, but he wanted the money back because he was saying, how come the money I'm giving you is not going to the person it belonged to? The person getting it, which is the landlord. They're using the money and not putting it where it's supposed to be.
So wait, in this case, I really was hoping we could have pulled that moment. And I don't know, producer, if you might be able to get it in time before we get off here. It was when he was talking about the group chats, and you can probably find it if you go back a little bit further. But was that the time that Thug actually gave him the money? He gave the money to Trontavious?
Mm-hmm. He gave him the money for the rent.
And they were trying to
I think he must have gave them money before, because he made a comment about it's not getting to the people that's supposed to get it, so it's like it's not getting to the landlord.
So they were trying to say that the money that they were talking about was for some
furtherance of the gang
activity. People just trying to pay rent and live right now. This is not anything, criminal. There's nothing criminal. And actually, Steele had asked that question. He's like, is there anything criminal about this conversation? And of course, Love objected, which I don't really understand the judge, because
I knew you was going to go there. I knew you was going to go there.
Girl.
I knew she was going to go there, y'all. I knew it.
Because you knew what he was doing today.
I knew she was going
to. You saw it.
Look, I started counting because you said, let's count how many times he objected.
Okay.
I started counting. And the defense, everyone was overruled. The prosecutor, only 2 overrules. All the rest was sustained.
Exactly.
2 overrules, y'all. I counted.
So I'm trying to understand. So look, people, listen. We just saying it ain't looking balanced. I thought that this was supposed to be the balanced scales, because he asked a question just as direct as the prosecution was asking. He said, is there anything in this text that was criminal? And she objects and he sustains. I really don't understand that. And just in case you guys are not, I get confused about this, I'm going to clarify. Objecting to something is, of course, you disagree, right? So your attorney objects, and then the judge can sustain it, meaning he will say you can continue that conversation, that further that thread of discussion or that question, or he overrules it and says you can't continue. And what we're saying is that the prosecution get a whole lot of sustains, whereas the defense gets a whole lot of overrules. I'm just saying, you did the numbers today, you counted. Ms. Silva, did you notice how the jurors were looking when he kept sustaining?
I noticed that they were not paying too much attention to at the last part of Miss Love's like, I was gonna say interrogation. No, the question.
It is an interrogation.
Question, and they weren't writing. But I remember the part when Mr. Steele was, that's why I kept bringing up the rent part. They wrote it down. They were writing.
Mm-hmm.
They were writing when the rent part came in.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, because what Steele again was trying to establish was, one, all of these pieces of evidence that Love has brought are really they're just conversations, and you guys have misconstrued them, and they mean something completely different. You've taken them out of context and you're trying to make them be something they're not. And to establish that Jeffrey was not involved in any particular criminal activity. Now, that doesn't mean that Trontavious, right? Trontavious is actually admitting his involvement in criminal activities. A few times on the stand, he talked about how he was involved in criminal activity. Steele talked about how Jeffrey attempted on several occasions to get him out of that lifestyle. He said, has Jeffrey asked you, did Mr. Williams try to get you out of that lifestyle? Did he try to get you legal work and get you involved in legal endeavors? And he said, no, I wasn't trying to do none of that stuff. He was basically offering him the opportunity, like carry the bags, come on tour and help out. And
he said he wanted the fast money.
Yeah, he wanted the fast money. So he said, I wasn't trying to do none of that stuff. And he said, have you been given opportunities to change your life by Jeffrey Williams? And he said, yes. So I think, where the prosecution has done well to really make Trontavious look like, a snitch, right? They make him look like,
jealous,
jealous,
upset because he had to go home. They kicked him out from the tour, So it was like revenge.
Yeah. And did the jury react when the judge said, "So what?" to Mr. Steele? What was that part?
I don't remember that part.
Kenzie, can you remind us of what that part was? But yeah, they essentially, Trontavious is in a position now where, and he's already serving time on those things that he's done, or the things that he already did. He's already served his time, so we already know that he's done crimes. Like, this is not new information. I think that this trial is really about, and we have to keep this at the front of our minds, this is about whether Jeffrey Williams was the leader of a criminal organization, a criminal gang enterprise that was racketeering and, had this record label and furthering the criminal activity. If that was what was going on, and I think that Steele did a great job today of separating Jeffrey Williams from the criminal activity that Trontavious admitted that YSL was doing. They even talked about them saying in some kind of conversation, that they needed to change and get away from the gang activity. But
he also shows that I'm gonna call him Tick because it's hard for me to remember the other name. But he also showed that Tick had nothing to do with the startup of YSL.
Mm-hmm. He still said, "You really didn't co-found anything with Jeffrey. Isn't that true?" And Tick said, "We went our separate ways." So maybe in the beginning, when they started off, and he even said that Jeffrey was not even around for the Rock Boy stuff because Jeffrey was already doing his thing. So it's, maybe in the beginning they were together in some capacity, but he said that they went their separate ways. And it seems like Tick continued to go down the path of, committing crimes and getting involved in things that were fast money. Whereas Jeffrey, started to get into the business aspects and getting away from all of those things, which is the link that Steele is trying to establish and to break. Steele said, that Jeffrey Williams paid money and offered him opportunities. He wanted him to not live a life of crime. And that Trontavious essentially kept getting caught up in that lifestyle. So, yeah, he's going to be back again. Just a couple more points that they asked him, Love, she said, she asked him, is everything the YSL raps about real or not? And this was kind of touching on that topic of whether lyrics can be used as evidence, whether lyrics are representative of, real crimes, or are they just, fabrications? Are they just, creativity? And Trontavious was like, no, I don't know what they got in their own brains. So he was basically he's like, I'm not going to be testifying to the fact that what they're saying in their lyrics is real. So I don't know if I'm sure that's going to come up again, because if he's the only witness that they've got regarding the lyrics, then they're going to try to beat him down on that. He talked about the different spots where they were selling drugs at 157 Cleveland Avenue and 221 Cleveland Avenue, the gas stations. When you did your little drive-by a couple of weeks ago, do you remember those locations, 157 and 221 Cleveland? Do you know if you passed by those?
Yeah, I got that. I went to all those spots.
Mm-hmm.
The apartment complex that they were at. I got it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that he admitted that they were, dealing drugs out of those particular locations. And they said something else about another address on Brownsville Road, 2531 Brownsville Road. I think they were saying that was a trap house. I don't remember. I wrote that in my notes. But basically, they're in a situation where Trontavious really has not been helpful I mean, he's taking a lot of the stuff on. He's taking his own L's, but it's still not linking to Jeffrey. What was Jeffrey's reaction in the courtroom today? Were you able to, you didn't, I don't know if you got any video of him. I know last week you showed some of the video of his reactions. Did you see any reactions for him that were?
He still had a stone cold face on throughout most of the testimony.
What about the other guys? Can you tell, were they troubled by anything? Because Trontavious was saying names today. He was calling names and pointing people out and everything.
They had some movement, but it was more like they were not paying attention. One person was drawing, and I think Stillwell was like doing a lot of stretching, and it was probably because of his injury. But other than that, I didn't see anything that was like out of like order or anything like that.
They were showing photos of the gang, various photos of them, of the gang. He was saying names very clear today. Yeah, he absolutely was. Showing photos of the gang all together, Love was asking about those gang signs. And he was like, I don't know what he's doing with his hand. She's like, what is he doing with his hand? I don't know what he's doing with his hand.
Yeah.
So even though Trontavious, like you said, do it all, is saying names now, he's still not really saying very much. Why was Young Thug wearing a shirt that said sex? I think the shirt said spider. The jacket
says spider, and the shirt says sex, and that what came from one of the IG person who developed it, and it's by a guy named. Let me tell you the name of the guy. Hold on.
But what do you think that there was some underlying meaning behind that?
No underlying meaning. It's just that there are people who've been sending different offers for them to wear their clothing on during trial, and they just he's been wearing them. That's it.
Yeah. Producer, if you have a shot of that, if you can pull up that spider jacket. I think you said that was $500 to $500 jacket he had on. But or you can pull up the other version of it. But yeah, so he definitely had on, Trontavious actually looked pretty good today. I kind of like the scruffy Trontavious. I feel like he's more, evokes more pity. Today he was a little bit cleaner. He had his white shirt on, his white jacket. And his hair seemed to be, he must have gotten wind that we were talking about his hair and everything and making memes about him.
But his lawyer sits next to me.
Oh yeah, what she said? Did she say anything about cleaning them up?
No, she asked me for my my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. So she may know that we make, but listen, it's all in good fun. This is certainly not listen, we have to do something to take the pressure off because it's a lot of pressure. This gentleman, when he leaves, he must be exhausted, but thankfully he's going to be having a break. After this Thursday, they're going to have a long break. But he's going to be probably on stand for the next couple of days because he's coming right back tomorrow, right? They're not
tomorrow, and then Miss Love is going to come back and do a redirect, so he's going to be here till the end of the day. Because tomorrow we have until 4 o'clock, and then the next day is a half a day to 12. Then the day after that is half a day, and then Friday is no court.
So they're going to drag this whole thing out, and I think that Love is starting to see him crack. I think we're starting to see him crack. But hopefully he can come home and get some refreshing after being there all day. And, it's tough because I was talking to some folks in the chat today during the trial, and they were in the YouTube chat, and they were talking about how people, pretty much they're not guilty, but because of the circumstances that they're dealing with, whether they're under these duress situations in court, or whether they've been offered a plea deal, or whether, it's not always because you're guilty that you wind up getting, jail time. It's oftentimes because of situations like this, where you are constantly under duress, where you're being essentially interrogated. And I just feel like Glanville he should not allow him to be on the stand like that all day. I just feel like that's just too much. I mean, it's just not humane in my opinion. But so that was today's
this is the guy's thing right there. I just went
sex records. Okay. So So yeah, so he's getting items. Speaking of fashion, if you got any more thoughts on, we'll talk about fashion in a moment too. Was Mariah there today?
Yeah, she was there. They was dressed alike with the white at the top and the bottom dark color. But the shoes, she didn't have any shoes that were new. We've seen those before. There was the tie-up white shoes that we saw before. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take a picture of it.
That's cool. Listen, poor girl, we don't. Those are the ones.
Those are the ones she had on. Yes.
Thank you,
He
producer.
got it.
Yes, and listen, Mariah, don't feel no kind of way. We not putting no pressure because I don't think I got that many pairs of shoes. You know, you can't be having shoes for us every day of the week different to make us feel good. But it's always a great reprieve to have her there. Who else was in the building for Thug or for the rest of the family? Was his family
Oh,
there?
the whole family was there. There was this guy. He had this awesome outfit on. I wish I could have taken his picture, but he wasn't inside the court, and I can't take pictures in the outside. So,
Okay.
but yeah, he had a whole bunch of gold necklace. So I don't even know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was. So I didn't get.
Well, you should have asked him. What you doing in there? Who are you?
Look, I was
Be nosy.
I was busy trying to help someone with the shoe. I mean, with the that jacket because somebody wanted his jacket. So.
Mm-hmm. Look at him. Listen, you still making money. You want listen. Smart Water need to be paying Trontavious Tick for his promotion of their product.
But you know what? That's probably going to happen, right?
Smart Water. Everybody tag Smart Water so that they can give Trontavious some daggone money because they are saving his life right now. He be clutching that bottle. That bottle keeps him going. He just like the freaking man on a desert island. You know, under all of that heat and pressure and all the Smart Water just holding him up. So y'all send him a few $1,000s. That man needs some money for his defense. Speaking of which, what was the Mr. Steele talking about in terms of how much his attorney cost and also the expectation his attorney was going to represent him? Is there an issue now whether attorney is not going to be representing him the entire time?
Who?
Tick. Because she was asking, Steele was asking about his attorney, whether his attorney was going to be representing him, or maybe this is a new attorney. Did he have a change in attorneys?
Yeah, he did from the one he had earlier.
Okay, that's what he was talking about.
And then she has her own practice by herself, and it's only her. She is not with a big firm. That's what he was trying to establish. What do you think he was trying to establish with that? Well, I know it was because the grandmother. He was trying to say the grandmother's the one that's been paying for the attorney and things like that, and this has not been Jeffrey, because it was trying to differentiate. There's a separation of the two.
Got it. Yeah. So he was trying to establish Jeffrey's not paying for his defense. So he has no motivation to try to help me here. Mm-hmm. And I also think it humanized him, right? Like your grandma, if your grandma believes in you, then, there's a level where we should believe in you too.
And they have to talk about his kids. He has 2 children. And
how old are his kids? Did they talk about, are they young kids?
One is 12 and the other one, I don't remember the age, but it's younger than 12. I think 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. And this is so hard when your parents are this is very, very public.
And then remember, he talked about how his mom died when he was 18 months old.
Oh, when he was Trontavious, Tick's mom died.
Yeah, and he started going to jail when he was 11. Juvenile detention. Mm-hmm. When something he did at the school, or something exploded, and he was doing something, and it kind of exploded at the school, and he ended up going to jail.
And this is what we talk about: the prison, the school to prison pipeline.
8. The other one was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he said 3 children, 2, 8, and 12. Okay, thank you.
Producer, I'm not seeing these comments. Put these things up so I can see them. So you're saying that we were just talking about the fact, again, humanizing him, that 11 years old, he goes to juvie, and he starts committing crimes at 11, and around that time is when he also goes to juvie. And that's when he says he was introduced to the blood gang. He, but prior to that, he was part of Rock Crew. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood was part of Rock Crew. The same way you part of the what do you call it? What's your group was called again?
The Zodiac Crew.
The Zodiac Crew. You know, she about to catch a Rico.
That was not a gang. We were just a crew.
It's just a crew, you know, but you know, they're gonna make it look like you in a whole gang if you get pulled, you know, if you get pulled into one of these Ricos and that you're furthering, you know, gang activity. So he was part of Rock Crew with all of the folks in his neighborhood. We talked about that last week and how he pretty much Rock stands for raised on Cleveland. So if you were raised on Cleveland Avenue, you were by default a member. There was no initiation. There was no getting jumped in. You just was a member because you was one of the kids from the block. And all of us, I think, can relate to that type of experience of being a part. But then when he went to juvie is when he was introduced to the blood gang. Mm-hmm. And the idea of, you know, gang signs and tattoos and all that other stuff.
And he also talked about the guy, the basketball player that was robbed, and the other guy said that he did it or something like that. That's why he wanted to get away from that guy.
Oh, I missed that whole part. What's that one?
I'm trying to remember the name of the individual. The one that who was part of that first group he was in, the Rock
Crew.
Yeah, and it was the Jarvis. Yeah, Jarvis. Jarvis is he wanted to get away from him. No, Jarvis is the basketball player, right?
I missed it, so I can't even go. Y'all help. Javaris, who is that? Is that a famous basketball player? I don't have my phone.
He went to jail, didn't he?
I don't know. Y'all got to help us out with this because I don't know this part. But he was saying that he wanted to get away from this lifestyle.
Javaris was the one that basically. I'm trying to get the name of the individual. They use a different name.
Mm-hmm. But he wanted to basically the whole idea is that this was a basketball player that was what?
No, Crediton, whatever his name. I don't know. Credit. You know how to say these names.
They're not putting it up for me. Producer, put the title.
Highlight it, please. There you go.
Crittenden. So hey, thanks, Mustafa. Crittenden. Who is Crittenden?
That's the basketball player, the NBA basketball player.
Oh, he played for Georgia Tech, drafted by the Lakers. Thank you. We appreciate y'all. Help us out here. Okay, now put it all together. So he knew he came up.
He got robbed.
Wow.
But and the other guy, what was the other guy, Mustafa? The guy that Tick was with, and that basically blamed him.
Okay, and this was when he was part of Rock Crew. And they robbed him at the gas station or something, or this dude was up on from the community.
No, the basketball player is the one that got robbed. I mean, I guess he got robbed for his chain.
But
Boo,
where?
That's the name of the guy. Thank you, Tyrone. Boo is the guy that was part of the Rock Crew that basically said that Tick did the robbery. And so he basically wanted to get away from that lifestyle because of that situation.
But he kept getting drawn in because he couldn't make 70 feet. Basically, he wasn't making any money. Yeah. I mean, listen, you would think that as much money as Jeffrey was making, that if he was indeed his partner in crime, if he was indeed his co-founder of the organization, that the dude would be making more money.
Matt told exactly. He wrote it down. Matt, go ahead.
Matt's comment up. He went to jail for trying to shoot a slug in retaliation, ended up killing a bystander. Ooh.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Y'all come in here, do your homework now. It's not always up to us. We just here to have a conversation.
I appreciate them because sometimes I'm work. Because remember, I was doing 2 child today. I was upstairs with YFN and coming down, so I was between the two. So
So we'll get an update from you on that, and I also have an update on ASAP Rocky. We actually had somebody at the LA Superior Court today, so we can talk about that really briefly before we get off here. So what other things? I guess it was really just dragging on the thing with Trontavia today. I wrote down some key notes I just think that, you know, I don't think that they're going to get Trontavious to say anything about Thug. I don't think that that's going to happen, and I think that Steele is prepared. He's got all the receipts. He's got an explanation for these communications. He's seen these exhibits that are going to be presented. He's explaining what they're really about. He's giving some context and basically making the prosecution look like fools because they don't really know what's going on. That's what's happening. So that's that. You guys, let's talk before we get into YFN. Let's talk a little bit if there's any more questions, thoughts about today's proceedings with YSL. Let's get some more questions like that in before we go into YSFN. So Steele was showing that's when he decided to change the name to YSL because he wanted to get away from the name Rock Crew because of the crimes Tick was known for. Exactly. So that was the whole thing. That was the separation that they went their separate ways. Yes, they did at one point, you know, have some relationship, but it seems that Tick was finally was kind of becoming a liability. Coach A says it seems Tick is finally maturing and honestly evaluating the reality of the situation, meaning his so-called being a founder of YSL has benefited him absolutely nothing besides facing 20 plus years. Yeah, he's out there purporting that he's sex money murder, you know, but he ain't never been jumped in. He said, I was never jumped in. So I guess, I don't know, maybe I do have the tattoo, but I guess you know, he admitted a couple of days ago that he actually was never jumped into the crew, and he has the tattoo and he calls out sex money murder, but it's really kind of fake. And now he's been saying that he's a co-founder of YSL, when in reality, you really didn't bring anything to the table in that regard. You might have been there when the conversation happened, but in terms of it becoming an official organization, that was not you. Did they discuss who will be coming up after Tick is done?
No.
No.
Tick is gonna be there for a while.
They're gonna wear him out.
Yeah, you got other defendants going to ask him question as well.
What's the other people that we know? Because I know there's a bunch of witnesses, but I know in the beginning they were born as the death row as their own police officers.
But so we don't know who the other ones are. They tell us every day who it is.
And it's funny because Steele brought that up. He's like, he mentioned that, I mean, not Steele, Glanville today. He was like, so I guess everything's going with the witnesses. You guys okay? I guess because you haven't brought anything up to me. So we're going to get some surprise witnesses. But there were a lot of people who were actually originally in the case. There were 28 original defendants, and all of them had pled out besides these last 6, right?
No, they didn't all plead out. Some of them got severed because the 2 had attorneys that was pregnant. Then you had one who attorney got arrested because of the situation. Then you had another one whose attorney basically with the whole computer thing and him dating the officer in the jail. So it was like 6 and then 8 took plea.
All right. So we got 6 of them that you said are severed, and then 8 took pleas. So that means that we're going to be hearing from maybe 7 more people who have something to say about Young Thug and the gang affiliation. So it's not going to just be Tick.
Well, you're not going to get Gunna. Gunna doesn't have to testify.
That's true. So that's -1, which is 7 people then. 7 people who may appear with something to say about this situation. So we can look back at the list and we'll get to those. But it looks like the prosecutions, maybe they're watching your podcast too, or they're watching what we're doing, and they're like, hey, we better bring the heat now.
They're watching. I promise you, they watch.
Yeah, because it's like, listen, y'all, people getting bored. Let's get to it. We don't want to hear from no more Poes. We don't want to hear from no more Boys in Blue. They're not credible anyway. Like, bring us some real people that we believe are going to give us some real nitty gritty on these lyrics. And that's the thing. It's like now to be able to put these, because she actually mentioned it today about whether or not, you know, these lyrics are about real situations. He's like, I don't know. Because here we go. He wasn't even there when that was happening. He was not a part of YSL it seems in the days when it was more of a corporation or a record label. It was really more so even in the origins, or that they were really not doing that. It was just kind of like a gang. So he don't really have no information about what their freaking lyrics about. He said, I don't know. So there's going to be hopefully some people that might, that they bring that talk about what's going on with those lyrics, because that's a big piece of the whole case. Can these lyrics be attached to particular crimes that have been committed? Who is being spoken about in these particular songs? They've mentioned the song "Ooh" today, and we have that song. I don't know if we have it ready. We're a little unprepared. It's Monday, y'all. Don't be too hard on us.
You're not playing songs, are y'all?
Huh?
You can play a song.
No, we have clips of that we put together when this first started 2 years ago, of segments of the songs that are being
YouTube ding me when we play music.
No, because you got to know how to do it. We put these up on YouTube already. These are up, and you got to know how to do it. But we're not playing the whole song. We're only playing a segment, and we've looped it, and we've taken the lyrics and showing the lyrics. So, Tyrone said I almost cried when Thug texted him and said he was proud of him for paying the rent. Right? Like, stop trying to put this man in jail. Like, somebody might need to go to jail, but I don't know if this dude need to go to jail. I'm just saying, like, why? Y'all, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. If you try to be somebody in this life, you better know they're coming for you. Jonathan Majors has a testimony. He got on there this morning. I didn't get to see his testimony about on Good Morning America about what happened with him and the girl. But he was at the top of his career, just like Thug, and they like trying to get you. Prosecutors are green. They don't understand the culture. Dudes will take this deal and just say just enough to keep the deal, but not enough to sell out their members. Exactly, Matt. They listen, this dude, Tick, been in jail since juvie. He ain't new to this. You think you think he coming on there? He know what he doing when he took the deal. He didn't want to be in that crazy ass freaking Fulton County prison anymore. He wanted to get out of jail. It was an insane situation. He took the deal. Who wouldn't? Togla said, did you hear anything about the jury getting shown again today?
Yeah, I heard about it. For at the 11:56, 11 o'clock, 11:56. Yeah, I saw it.
How many? They showed like 2 people. I heard something like that.
Yeah, but it was quick.
Okay, but I mean, you can screenshot anything. Did they do anything in terms of the camera, cut it or anything like that?
No.
I tell you, man, they supposed to secure you and not make sure you safe. You come in and sit on a daggone jury.
The problem is the jurors are sitting on the floor because the back seat, there's like 2 seats that's broken, and then the defendants are not able to see them in that little room because there's a big old glass that has like a one-way mirror type of thing. You can't really see the defense. I mean, the jurors. So that's where the problem lies.
Okay, so it's the configuration of the courthouse with the camera that's creating this issue. All right, what else we got, producer? Who else we had you guys on here late? She didn't meet on the floor, Mustafa. She met like on the. They're not raised.
They're not raised. They're on the low floor because normally jurors sitting on like an elevated spot. They're on the floor.
Exactly. Tick wasn't gonna put grandma under the bus. That's right. Grandma paying for this, and grandma. Listen, grandma. Shout outs to grandmas, man. Grandmas be believing in you all your life. You be going wrong and being in jail, and grandma still be believing in you. And she pulled out her savings or whatever to pay for this attorney. This is not some big attorney from some big firm. I think that was what Steele was trying to establish. This woman is a one-woman show, and she's paying her money to try to keep this guy out of jail. Sylvia, do you think this trial will be sped up? I'm thinking April.
No, because you got a couple of other defendants, the ones that she's talking about. They're gonna come in, they're gonna drill them just like they drill him. This is like what, 2 weeks of this guy?
Yeah, Love is not. Look, she is not trying to take no L's. She is very, very aggressive, and it's funny because I noticed a change in her tone today. She seemed to be, you know, the type of, you know, prosecutor where you beat the person down and then you play psychological games, like, you know, you try to talk sweetly to them, like what? You know, like I was getting this whole thing where, you know, she was changing her tone a bit because she realized that he was starting to get weary. So it was less aggressive, but it was kind of like, yeah, let me help you get out of this. Let me, you know, if you need me to re-explain, just ask me. You know, it just kind of was like, okay, I see that. You know, Any reactions from the family today? CEO is asking.
Not, not. Mm, I mean, trying to think. No, not too much. Not too much. Not too much from the family.
And who was that new guy at the states table? Okay, y'all out there looking at the see? That's why we can't have a professional situation.
He's not new. He's been there.
Is he cute? Is that why Tall Glass is asking?
No, he's been there. That's Mr. Brown. He's been there.
All right. Okay, she's not asking because he's handsome though, because I know how the people on here be. They be trying to see all the new cute guys. Okay. All right. So we don't have no shoe cam today. Again, we just starting for the week. Y'all gotta give us. Oh, this guy?
No,
is this the one?
Not on the state table.
Oh, that's right. That's the daggone. Yeah, but he is handsome. I know they like to see him. So yeah, that's one of your favorites. That's the attorneys. You know, we like to see the men of distinction. Are they still coming in looking very well groomed?
Yes, very much so.
Very much so. Are they wearing cologne? Are you able to smell their cologne? Are they wearing
very? I'm able to smell the cologne.
Inquiring.
One of the camera guy, I mean the media guy, he smells so good today. He was in the media room. Oh, he smells so good.
Oh, what's up, media guy? What you wearing? You got on your Christmas perfume? What you wearing? You wearing pheromones? What you wearing? Okay. So let's talk about, if y'all don't have any more comments about that, we could talk about YF and Lucci, and then we could talk about ASAP Rocky.
Let me tell you, YF and Lucci case is going to be over, and then we're still going to be in Jeffrey's case. Because the judge he chose from 600 jurors down to 115. He finished that. Now he has already picked the jurors, and he's ready to go tomorrow.
Oh, wow. He's ready to go tomorrow.
The jurors was done in one day.
So what's going on with Glanville?
He was finished by 3:30.
What's happening with Glanville?
He's picking 6 jurors and 3 alternate. But no, totally. He did say 15. No, he said 15.
Oh, I'm like, you got to have a jury of 12. Okay.
No, you don't have to have a jury of 12.
What happened? I thought that was the standard.
Oh, I'm thinking civil. Civil, you can do 6 jurors.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's going to be, but is it really starting tomorrow?
Yes. He's done. I went up there the last minute because, you know, I was going to go up there, finish it off my little thing. He was gone. 3:30, finished, done. Vamoose.
So it's officially started. I mean, it's just weird to start in the middle of the week. So he's going to be starting the actual opening statements and everything tomorrow.
He really started. Was it Monday? What's today? Monday? No, Monday was a holiday. No, Monday was. Today's Monday, right, y'all? Today's Monday. It started today. It's still considered part of the trial. Jury selection is still considered part of the trial.
Okay, but I mean, like in terms of opening statements, when is that officially going to start?
Tomorrow. It's only 3 defendants.
Oh, so it is going to officially start.
They can knock it down to 3 defendants. Are they airing the case live? Nope. Not right now because nobody's interested in it.
Yeah.
So that's why we'll be running up and down for you guys.
That's the way it works, folks. It's like, you know, it's really all about where the camera resources are going to be. They can air it live. It's just that, you know, us folks in the media have to provide the cameras. So the court allows it to be done, but the media has to provide the cameras, and the media decides whether or not they're interested in a particular trial. They probably will get in there for a couple of days at some point. Hold on a second. What's happening? They may get in for a couple of days at the end, probably towards the end of the trial, but we'll see. You know, we'll hopefully be able to get some.
Channel 2, which is WSB TV, is the main station that does most of the production, and they're the pool leader most of the time. They're saying they don't know if they will be in it. Channel 11 might come in it. They don't know, but they got Trump and they got this. So
right, your trial ain't hot, YFN Lucci. You ain't got enough star power. Okay.
That judge doesn't play either. That judge is like,
I feel that.
That's why I have to get my Rule 22 in so I can at least record it with my little my little handheld camera.
What's the situation? Is that who's that judge? Is it a female judge there?
No, it's a male.
Because there was some judge who said some real shit.
Adam. That's Judge Adam. She
was the one that made that statement, like saying this to somebody. It was some YSL member who came in drunk for something a few weeks ago. It's just random, and she said, "This is not Judge Glanville's court."
Oh, that's Judge Manning. That's Judge Manning. She was pre-trial.
Wow, that's smoke though. She throwing smoke at him. That's kind of saying something. Producer, do you have the segment on Rocky that you can show? It's on the site. On the Rocky article. So Wyeth and Lucci is going to be happening, and that kind of case kind of intersects. Well, we want to see the video segment, sir.
Well, he is supposed to be a witness on the
article. Huh?
He's supposed to be a witness on YSL, and he's a defendant on his own case. So he's a witness on YSL. He's supposed to be a victim.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. There is an intersection between those particular the trials. So that's going to be interesting to be able to see, you know, whether because they're going to be able to bring him in as well. You know, he's easy enough to get him from downstairs, or upstairs, wherever he is. So that should be pretty good to be able to have him come in. And he's from a rival gang. He's from the gang that allegedly stabbed Shannon Stalling a couple of weeks ago. All right.
You're breaking out.
Where's my producer? Okay, so y'all don't have the video. Oh, we have an internet issue. Okay, so real quick, maybe we may get it up, but I'll just tell you guys the gist of it. Basically, so this is A$AP Rocky. So A$AP Rocky, this today in the LA Superior Court was that's a picture of A$AP Rocky. This is Riri's husband. Y'all know who this is. Everybody, listen, everybody got cases. So, you know, we're going to try to give you as many as possible, but it's unfortunate that our folks are involved in so much legal stuff. But, you know, this is a representative of what people in our community are dealing with. And it seems like Black men are really, you know, catching cases everywhere. So A$AP Rocky is involved in a case in the LA Superior Court. Apparently, allegedly, he shot at someone from a former friend, A$AP Relly, who was a part of his, formerly a part of his, let me see, I'm just going to give you a quick, his ex-friend. He's incident in Hollywood, California. He's accused by his ex-friend A$AP Relly of firing a gun at him during an argument. So they apparently have pictures of A$AP Rocky with a gun, and then they have separate pictures of him of gunshots being fired, but nothing showing that he fired the gun at him. So it's a little bit not 100% conclusive. And his attorney spoke to us through Afi Patterson, who is Esquire out there in LA. And he said that he is going to vindicate A$AP Rocky. He's not even going to talk to him. He's not talked to him about a plea deal or anything of that nature. He feels as if, the outcome is going to be a not guilty verdict. We have not discussed the possibility of conviction. There's no reason to discuss the possibility of conviction. Facts will take us in a certain direction, and we'll deal with whatever comes our way, but that's not a concern. And he says that he is going to vindicate A$AP Rocky. I don't know. I feel like these days, and this is what Afi was saying as well. You can't be too confident because the daggone what do you call it? The law will get you all caught up and you thinking you're good to go, like Tory Lanez, and the next thing you know, your ass is in jail. So I don't know about that. I don't really trust the courts, and I think that you should never be too confident these days that you're not even going to discuss. Not to say that you should take a plea, but it just seems like Takapina, his attorney, is saying that he is not planning to take a plea. Producer, you don't have that yet, right? No. Okay, you don't have it. All right, Sylvia had to jet because she said she got a phone call. Any last questions from you guys? Any comments, thoughts, questions, concerns? Give me some more, producer, before we get out of here. And we'll be back tomorrow. If you have not been watching, watch us live on YouTube. We are streaming live all day from the courthouse, so that is super exciting. And you have an exclusive seat through Infamous Sylvia on YouTube, on SOHH TV on YouTube, where you can be with your own community talking about these trials without having interruption from other folks who don't, think the way we think. Okay. So make sure y'all come through for that. Real quick on the news side, NWA is going to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2024 Grammys. So congratulations to them. If you heard about Ari Lennox, she got a bottle thrown at her at a Rod Wave concert where she was performing and opening for him. She's like, yo, that was crazy. She talks about that. All of these stories on SOHH.com. 21 Savage is back out. He's going to be doing a biopic with Donald Glover called American Dream. And 21 Savage, isn't he Canadian? I know he's not, because he's not American, but it's interesting. His biopic is American Dream. Jay-Z and D'Angelo are teaming up for the Book of Clarence soundtrack. Oh, D'Angelo is coming back. That is refreshing. I mean, dude, he was like everything. And, to have him come back, hopefully he's in good shape. We can't expect him to have those abs like he used to. And then Oprah is setting the record straight on the rumors involving Taraji. Taraji says she was underpaid, and everybody's just speculating that Oprah did something. We don't know. Apparently, she's talking about it. I didn't read that story yet, but you can read all of this on SOHH.com. We got the story. Halle Berry, of course, she did have a baby. Everybody was talking about the fact that she was pregnant. She was, low-key about it. But, yeah, she's got a baby, like, instantly. She had the baby recently. And we finally know that her baby's name is Halo, which is great. And some top 5 surprising facts about Cat Williams. If you are still interested in Cat Williams, considering he blew up the internet last week with his big Club Shay Shay story. Did you know that Cat Williams could read and was fluent from the ages of 8 to 12, he consumed approximately 3,000 books annually, all of which were nonfiction, and that he got a full scholarship to the National Science Academy. He's also a Mensa scholar, which is for those of us who have high IQs. So if you're interested in any of that, go to SOHH.com. In the meantime, y'all, if that is all, what is this? What are we looking at? Okay. I done went to the wrong page. If there is nothing else, I'm gonna let y'all go for the night, but we will be back tomorrow. Come and support, like, and subscribe. There's cash apps today at SOHH, Infamous Sylvia, and we'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. There'll be more. We'll have more for you. All right, guys, have a good night.